So like this morning's session, we're going to bring up a third-party developer who's an Android Developer Challenge winner. And he's going to discuss his application and show us some stuff on a live emulator. So I'd like to introduce you to Philip.
Hello, once again, my name is Philip Beuys. I'm from Salzburg, Austria, and as Mike said already, my application, Wikitude, has been a finalist at the Android Developer Challenge, a development competition that has been going on for the last 6-7 months. One second. Just real quick, how I had the idea about Wikitude. I was on a trip, and I'm already a Wikipedia fan, and I thought it would be a great idea. Just one second. Yeah, and I thought it would be a great idea to actually combine the information that is in Wikipedia and my travel navigation system so that I have points of interest directly on my navigation system. So this was the initial idea. I developed a website called wikitude.org that worked out very well. So for this, I actually downloaded the Wikipedia content, extracted it, and made my own search index based on Wikipedia content. So using Wikitude, you were able to look for points of interest in your area. And then I read about the Android Developer Challenge. This was in November 2007. And I thought that actually Android is a perfect platform for Wikitude. And all I had to do is develop a client that actually goes to this web service that I have already, read Wikipedia information, and display it on a map and a list, and then later in a cam view. And this is what came out of this. There is a simple search and also an advanced search. So you can imagine you are like all these Google people. They're now visiting Munich. They don't know what you can do in this area. So Wikitude could help them a lot. So I used a simple search now to just search and to see what I find in this area. As you see here, I'm actually close to Munich. The closest point of interest found in Wikipedia is actually the Munich air disaster, which happened in the 1960s. We are here at this orange arrow, and you are able to click at all these points of interest to see what's here. There's also, let's pick one interesting one. Yeah, just something Victorian marked. I'm sure everybody knows it. And then there's also a detail view. You can really read all this information here. And also a list view. But the most exciting thing actually is the camera view, which is augmented reality. I'm sure you've heard of augmented reality. It's actually a well-known concept, but so far it has never been really used by everyday consumers. And maybe this implementation here could be one of the first applications that actually introduces augmented reality to the general public. And to explain what this is here, this is actually the way a camera view is simulated in the emulator. So an Android phone has, of course, a camera. And when you switch on the preview, like the camera view, you would see whatever is behind your camera. And what I'm doing now, I'm taking all the points of interest that are in my area, and I try to map them with the phone screen. And this is possible because of one of these superior features of the Android phones. they have actually next to the regular compass, they have a orientation sensor, so you know exactly how you are holding the device. And just let me know if you have questions about this, if you don't really know what I'm doing here. And now, since this is a simulator, I'm simulating to look to the right. And as you see, the points of interest go by. I look to the left. Here's actually again the Viktualienmarkt. And here you see a compass. And now I would like to show you some pictures, how this actually would look if it really is available on a real phone. I've never seen it really working. It is, and that's the way it's supposed to look actually. So imagine you're sitting in an airplane and you are actually allowed to switch on your phone, because most of the time you're not allowed. But you're holding the camera out of your window, and you can actually see what is down there. Yeah, because the phone knows the way you are holding it. The phone knows where the points of interest are, and the phone is able to calculate actually the position of the point of interest relative to the camera and map it to the camera view. So here's actually, on this picture, you see a view from the Empire State Building, fake as well. And here, imagine you're walking through like a village in Spain on vacation, and you would like to know the name of a certain church. You're just holding the camera towards it, and your Android device tells you what it is. So this is actually a completely new interface to Wikipedia content, and it might actually spark some new efforts actually to get some more information into Wikipedia. Right now, the system is quite contains like 110,000 points of interest, which is quite a lot. So as you saw here in Munich, you really find actually a lot of points of interest and a lot of things to do. I would like to show you just two more features. So next to looking left and right, of course, you can simulate looking up and down. And then there is some kind of a scan mode. So the regular mode of this would be that it shows you on the map the text of the currently selected point of interest. Like when you looked at the cam view, there was also at the map view, you saw that there was one point of interest currently selected. And the default mode is that this currently selected point of interest contains this additional text bubble. But when I switch on the scan mode, as now, it shows you always this text bubble above the point of interest that is closest to the center. This way you can just point your phone at some mountain, and the phone would tell you what the name of this mountain is. And another feature would be the show all mode. Using this mode, it actually shows you all the text labels for each of the points of interest on the camera screen. So that's about it. Do you have any questions?
How do I get in here? Okay.
You mentioned Wikipedia. Does it also expose some kind of Android service to other Android applications, or only Wikipedia?
I'm using only Wikipedia content. Of course, you could use other sources as well. I kind of stuck to Wikipedia right now. Of course, you could really use any other things. I thought about events once. This would also be a great idea to kind of use it as a party guide, and anything that can be anything that is kind of location based.
Another question up front.
Yeah, how does the geocoding work of Wikipedia articles?
Yes. When you look at Wikipedia, there are some articles that can be georeferenced, and they have the coordinates on the top right of the article. There's some kind of Wikipedia project going on. It's called Project Georeferenzierung. It's actually a project, I think, initiated by the German Wikipedia. And there are many volunteers working worldwide, just picking Wikipedia articles, looking it up on Google Earth, on some other tool, and adding the information on the top right of the screen. And what I did, I scanned this whole dump of Wikipedia data and analyzed exactly these point of interest data. Actually, I must say, to be really precise, there's some other guy who extracted already this information, and I used the KML files and extracted the coordinates from there.
Do you want to georeference what we see here just by the GPS coordinates or by picture recognition? And do you think you will get enough accuracy by the phone application to show these points of interest at the right place on the display?
So you're asking if the way I'm calculating the position is accurate enough by just using latitude and longitude and my ways of calculating it according to the screen position. I believe it will work out. I've never seen it working. As I said, I will test it actually on Thursday and Friday. I will have a device, and let's see. But I think it's actually fairly accurate. I'm sure there are other. Actually, I heard of other systems that are using picture recognition, and this would be another way of doing it. But actually, just one word about accuracy. This point of interest, they are also not really accurate. So imagine some castle somewhere. I mean, they put the point of interest as somewhere in the middle. So a few meters up and down doesn't matter so much, and also the GPS is not really accurate. This is actually a big question if it really works so accurate, because sometimes GPS is not really accurate. So this might be a problem.
Another question over here.
For my digital camera, I have this nice telelens adapter, so I can double the focal length just by attaching the lens adapter in front of the camera. So the actual image I'm seeing on the display is zoomed in. Mm-hmm. So this won't work with your display or with your application. Or
actually, I didn't really understand.
So,
but you can ask it.
What kind of information do you get from the device about the camera? Is there some focal length or
like
field of view
of the position? You mean?
No, from the camera. So from the camera chip of your phone, do you get any information like?
Or to rephrase it, I think the question is, how do you know that you're overlaying things correctly? Like, what does the camera tell you? I know from the sensors you can tell which way it's pointed.
Okay.
And the GPS will tell you where on planet Earth you're standing.
Yeah.
And then, you can also maybe from the compass figure out that. But then there's field of view issues, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that
Actually, I have a
accurate?
little drawing here. This way, no. Yeah, here's a little drawing. Yeah. Here's a little drawing. So here's the point of interest. This is the camera, actually the screen, and then the blue coordinate system are the device coordinates, and then the black coordinates. These are actually the real coordinates. And what I'm doing is I'm actually taking this point of interest, calculating this first from latitude, longitude into this orthogonal black coordinate system here, like the absolute coordinates. Then from the device, I can take the device coordinates, like the way you're holding it, and I'm transforming each point of interest from this one coordinate system into the other. of course, there can be something in between here. Yeah, if there's a building in between, the point of interest would still just be mapped on the building. But therefore, for each point of interest, I actually display the distance as well, so you might know then that this point of interest is actually further away.
All right, another question in the green?
Hi, I'm just wondering about elevation then. Does that come into your calculations at any time?
The
Elevation, so the height.
altitude?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, good question. Actually, in the Wikipedia, there's only latitude and longitude, actually on just without altitude. And I'm using some NASA service from the NASA website. You can download information about the altitude as well. Like you can just use, search for latitude and longitude, and you're getting back the altitude. So I did this for all these points of interest and storing the altitude as well.
Any more questions? Okay. All right, thank you very much, Philip.
Okay.
All right, that's cab for me. That's excellent. I need this display here. There we go. All right, can I yeah, maybe you could take that. All right, so we have a few minutes before the live webcast, or we have many, many minutes. So we'll see. Okay. Bear with me 1 second. Okay, as promised, the very basic introduction to the SDK. Who here has downloaded and installed the SDK for Android already? Okay, so this probably won't be very new. So step one is, of course, you download the SDK from code.google.com. And the web page looks like that. And there's the license agreement. And if you read through the license agreement, it will tell you things like you're not allowed to hack the SDK and put it on devices and things like that you see some people have done already. It's interesting. So, of course, you have to agree to the terms of the license agreement, which says all the things you're allowed to do and not do, like put it on an unlicensed device. All that will change when everything's open sourced, of course. And you have your choice of your development platform, so you're not stuck with a single operating system. So right now we support Linux, Mac, and Windows version of the SDK. I have a Mac here, so the example here shows me downloading the Mac. Now you notice the naming convention has, here it says Android SDK Mac _x86.9 beta. So it's operating system, version, and then .zip. So you unzip the zip file somewhere on your computer. And here you see the layout. I'll just use my laser pointer here. So here's the root directory right there. And android.jar, this has all the files, all the .class files that you link against. In either Eclipse or command line build or whatever you want to use. Documentation, you'll see documentation in the docs directory. And code samples are in the samples directory. And then in the tools directory, you have these various command line tools. And I don't know, does anyone here, has anyone used MKSD card? One or two? Okay. One of the things about the emulator is you can actually, you can pass a command line option where you can pass a command line to a file that is I believe it's a FAT32-based file system image. And it will mount it on the operating system as /SD card. So that's how you're able to pretend that your emulator has an SD card. So you can use that for building applications that say play MP3s or videos or something from the SD card. Okay. Now, of course, you've probably seen Google and videos talk about the Eclipse plugin. That is the preferred method of developing for Android. But that doesn't mean that you can't do things on the command line. So I'm just going to show, first of all. Oh, thanks, man. Okay, good. Can everybody hear me better now? Okay, good. Yeah, so you can still do things on the command line if you want. It's a lot easier in Eclipse. But I'll just run through a little bit of how you can do things on the command line. So the first thing that you should do is you add the tools directory of the SDK to your path. And here you see I'm in the tools directory, and I do a little trick here where I export path equals present working directory $path, and now I've got the tools directory on my path. So we'll talk about the emulator a bit. I mentioned this morning that the emulator is actually, it actually emulates the entire operating system. When you run the emulator, you're running the entire Android operating system stack. Linux kernel, drivers, everything. And the emulator actually pretends to be an ARM CPU. So it pretends to be the CPU of the first devices that will be launched. And this way, if you write your applications and it runs on the emulator, it's pretty much guaranteed that it will run on the real device. The only caveats for that are things like GPS, stuff like that has to be kind of faked out with the emulator, and things like the camera. Those are the areas where you need to tweak a little bit when you have a real device. So if you run emulator with the -help, you see there's a lot of options here. And let's see, is the SD card option up there? Not yet. Maybe on the next page. Yep, so here's more emulator options that you have. And I don't see SD card. Sorry? Oh, is it? It was on the first page. Oh, there we go. Yep, you're right. So you can say -SD card file. SD card image. And it says by default that. I don't know if I've ever used the default. I always just make my own and pass that in. Okay. And then, of course, you see that there's, oh yeah, you can tell it uses QEMU. And there's even more emulator options. So there's lots of stuff there for you to explore. Of course, the Eclipse plugin hides a lot of these options, but some of the more advanced things you might want to dig into this. And ADB is the other thing. ADB is what you use to communicate to an emulator or to a real device plugged into your USB port. The really nice thing about how it's designed is ADB can't tell the difference between an emulator or a real phone, real Android device plugged into your USB port, which is really cool. Okay, and of course ADB has a lot of options. There's lots of stuff there. ADB push and pull are really useful. That's what you'd use to, say, push a file from your local file system to the remote file system that you've connected to, whether it be a real device that's hooked on the USB port or an emulator. And for example, what you could do with the emulator is you could make an SD card image and pass that file with the -SD card option, and maybe emulate an 8 megabit SD card, or 8 megabyte rather. And then what you could do is you could push some MP3 files and video files, and you could work on building your own music player or something if you have an idea for a really cool one. All right, and there's even more ADB options. And yet more ADB options. Okay, so if you launch the emulator, you'll see it'll give you this warning, and you can just ignore that. And here you see I'm running it in the background. And it should look something like this until the next version of the SDK comes out, and then it might look a little bit different. But that's what it looks like right now with SDK 0.9 beta. All right, so ADB can communicate to an emulator or a real device plugged in. So here, if you run the ADB devices command, that'll tell you how many devices are connected. And if I hook up my device to the USB port, you'll see it'll say emulator, and then it'll also show me the serial number of the device that I have attached. And here, I'm running a second emulator. And now when I run ADB devices, it actually lists 2 emulators here. One is shown as offline because it's still booting up. And what happens is it's the number that you see here. This is the TCP port that it's listening on. It listens on a pair of ports. And so it's always an even number in this case. And here you see this one's gone from offline to booted up. All right, I don't know if this is something you might not know, and that's that you can use the ADB shell command to actually connect to the Linux of the emulator or real device and execute Linux commands. So here you see I've done ADB shell and then just listed the files. So there's some SQLite stuff. There's the SD card file system there and various other things. So you could probably just poke around there and learn something. Although I don't know why this is 1970. I know the Unix file system measures everything from 1970, doesn't it? So that's probably like a 0 timestamp we're getting for some things. Okay, the SDK comes with some sample code. I strongly recommend you have a read through and look at the sample code. And there's lots of sample code out there. If you search using Google, I'm sure you can find some more sample code. Make sure you get sample code for the latest SDK, though, because there were some changes made between version M5 and version 0.9 beta. There probably won't be that many changes between 0.9 beta and 1.0 when that comes out. All right. I'm just going to have a little bit of water. Okay, back to the layout. So here, if you expand out the samples directory, you can see various code samples there. I'm going to focus on the lunar lander example because that's the one that closely most resembles a game. So what you can do is there's another command line tool called Activity Creator that you can use to build an Ant build script. Who here has used Ant before? Okay, good. I love Ant, but I don't know how many people do. So here I've used Activity Creator. I've gone into the lunar lander directory. And I've used Activity Creator, and I said, write your output to this directory and use the Android manifest.xml to figure out what to do. And so it parses the Android manifest. It starts writing things out. It gives you a warning. It says, I'm not going to overwrite anything, which is good. And then here you see it added this file, build.xml. And then, of course, you can use Ant to build it. So here, I'm doing a listing, and you see the directories. There's the build.xml. And now I'm running Ant. I'm piping the output into /dev null, because I don't really care what Ant tells me. I know it'll work. And then here, I do an ls-l, and I get the listing here. And you notice there's a bin directory is now shown up. So here, if I do a listing of the bin directory, you see I end up with this APK file. And that's what Android applications look like. It's just an APK file. It's really just a glorified zip file. So if you type unzip-l on the command line to that APK file, you can see what's inside it. And then we install it in the emulator that's running. So the command, of course, is intuitively enough, adb install. So adb install and then the path to our APK. And then here it's telling you, look how fast I am, aren't I great? And then success. And it's installed. And that means you can run it. And then you see the lunar lander icon shows up right here. The Sorry, has it? Oh, does it have a signature now? I believe that if you go into the, we could look into the build.xml thing, but I believe the -debug.apk has like a debug certificate that it uses to sign it. But I'd have to double check in the, I'd have to double check the build.xml, whose output I piped to dev null and ignored. And then, of course, you can play Lunar Lander. So when I did this screen capture, people were walking by my desk and looking in, and it looked like I was just playing games, but I was just I was doing my best to make sure that I could get one screen capture where I actually landed the rocket ship properly. And you can see it's actually a little more difficult than it looks. Oh, wait, is this the one? Steady, here we go. And is it almost there? All right. Thank you, thank you. I won't tell you how many takes that took. Yeah, that took a lot of, I was playing Lunar Lander for a good chunk of the afternoon, so I'm sure lots of people will be putting in their resumes at Google now. Can I play games all afternoon? Okay, and so now I've shown you how to do things using the command line. So we'll get into the easier way, which is to use the Eclipse Android plugin. And so to do that, you import the Lunar Lander code into Eclipse. So here, I just pointed at the location, the directory where the Lunar Lander code was. And then it filled in everything else for me. I didn't need to do anything else. I just needed to choose the directory. And then you click Finish. And then you click Run. That's all you gotta do. You click Run, hit OK, and that's it. So the Eclipse is a little bit easier than the command line stuff. Okay, well, that's it for this talk. I'll take a few questions later, but right now I think we have a, we don't? A few minutes? 3 minutes? Okay, we have 3 minutes for questions. How do you do the GPS simulation? I think that's changed from version to version. I don't know off the top of my head. I think you need to put an, actually, where's Philip? He knows. Is it an NMEA format string in a particular location, and then you have to tell the emulator? Testing. Can you say it into the mic? Telnet session?
Yeah. You open the Telnet session, and to a certain IP address, actually, let's just look it up real quick. Yeah, to the local host with port 5554. And then in this Telnet session, you type in some command. It's geo fix longitude and latitude, and that's it. Is it geo? It's a G.
Oh, geofix.
It's a geo space fix, and then the longitude, and then the latitude.
That's better than the file thing, isn't it? Yeah. We're on now? Okay. Live webcast. Okay. I'll shut this off.
You can put into full screen mode.
Okay. Do you want to deal with that?
Oops. Why did you do that? Oh my God.
We can just, do you want to kill the web browser?
Well, I want to move it,
Yeah.
but this won't.
Yeah, maybe we should just kill it and relaunch it.
Just remove the video, start in full screen. Sorry for this, guys. In a minute. Change the resolution.
Well, this is the resolution it detected.
Well, now it should switch back because there's nothing connected to it.
Why is, oh wait, okay, here we go. Is that a bit better? Why is the,
Oh, shit. Change the resolution.
okay. Sorry about this. We'll just be a second.
What is this?
Looks pretty good. So you wanna minimize.
Minimize what?
You want, hang on, you wanna go like this.
Okay.
Wait, one second here. I wanna go like that, and I wanna grab it,
No,
so
no,
it's
you
just,
can, no, you can have full screen. If you click on this, it takes it full screen.
I think it's easier, it's better if we go like this first, and then go to full screen once
Okay.
we have a browser. So
Let's first
put
comment.
that in, detect displays.
Because now, oh, okay.
Okay. And the audio. There we go. Okay.
Might argue a German man in New York exactly that is the case, besides the little small fact that I'm Austrian but working for a German-based company. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are continuing our strong tradition at Deutsche Telekom and T-Mobile of being pioneers of the open mobile internet. With today's event, we are launching the world's first Android-based mobile phone, T-Mobile G1, in an exclusive partnership between Google and T-Mobile. For us at T-Mobile, this is also first because we're launching the same device simultaneously on both sides of the Atlantic. And I'm proud that we can today honor the commitment of my CEO, René Obermann, given 1 year ago, that we will bring the first Android-based device with robust wireless internet and Web 2.0 services to the market at the end of this very year. We at Deutsche Telekom, one of the leading global telecoms operators, are committed to driving innovation in order to benefit our customers and to provide them with a superior user experience wherever they are. We've come a long way with our partners and friends at Google in our pioneering approach to open up the mobile internet. In 2005, T-Mobile has been the first telecoms operator in the world to open up the mobile internet and thus move away from walled gardens or closed portals. This pioneering approach was the necessary but then disruptive response to the needs of our customers. We do clearly think that the mobile internet is the dominant trend of our industry going forward. That is most likely. And thus, we'd like to leverage that growth opportunity. In the last year in Europe, we have grown mobile data revenues without SMS by 43%. And with that, we've outperformed the market by a margin. Also, traffic has grown with a respective 250%. And I think we need to capitalize further on that very opportunity. Our partnerships are very important going forward and to make the open mobile internet happen. And I'd like to express my gratitude today to our partners at both Google and HTC. We have taken our partnership with Google to yet another level by becoming a founding member of the Open Handset Alliance in 2007. And together with our partners and friends at HTC, we have time and again shown that we can bring disruptive innovation to the marketplace, starting from the mobile digital assistant in 2002 to now and today T-Mobile G1 with Google. Ladies and gentlemen, Deutsche Telekom, T-Mobile International is committed to open industry platforms as they bring the necessary freedom to our customers, to the developer community, and also, of course, content providers. T-Mobile G1 is a milestone in bringing the open mobile internet to the mass market. Thank you, and with that, I'd like to introduce my friend and colleague, Andy Rubin, Senior Executive Director, Mobile Platforms at Google. Andy. Thank you, Christian.
Hello. Google was obviously a company that was founded on the internet. It's the internet that provides collaboration, openness, and that, of course, yields innovation. With Android, today we're bringing some of those advances and strategies to the mobile phone, the T-Mobile G1. On it, a developer will be able to use it as a platform, and they'll be able to develop their application on the Android platform. But also, because of its openness, a developer will be able to modify the platform and make the platform better. Therefore, because the platform is open, we think Android is somewhat future-proof. It's future-proof because it has openness built in. On behalf of the Open Handset Alliance and Google, I'd like to bring up Peter Chow, who was instrumental in creating the actual hardware that runs Android, the first Android phone.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy. So on behalf of HTC, I'm very honored to be here today with my colleagues from T-Mobile and Google to unveil the first ever Android handset, the T-Mobile G1. I would like to first congratulate Andy and the entire Google team on their Android vision, strategy, and its execution. I know today isn't just a big day here in New York, but I'm sure there's a big celebration in Mountain View as well. There's a tremendous effort to make this Android Open Handset Alliance happen. So Brian, Hiroshi, Steve, good job. Likewise, I would like to congratulate T-Mobile teams in the US and Europe on their drive on innovation, commitment on quality and dedication, making today a reality. HTC, Google, T-Mobile, we share similar vision for making mobile internet practical, relevant, and fun. Today, represent the culmination of this vision by offering a variety of Google services, unique application, and the content that introduce internet experience that people can use and enjoy, really use and enjoy it. HTC has worked closely with Google and T-Mobile to develop a unique, iconic design, unlike anything else in the market, that will maximize mobile internet experience. With impressive touch experience and a cool rotating keyboard, the T-Mobile G1 will appeal to a broad variety of people. I've been working in this industry very long, and I found Android platform nimble, flexible, and powerful. And T-Mobile G1 and Android platform are contributing to a fundamental shift in how and where people consume internet. And HTC is very excited to be part of it. Thanks, and I hope you enjoy it. Now I would like to turn this to Cole.
Thank you, Peter. I just want to really quickly thank Andy and Peter again for their personal leadership. It's been a 3-year journey. We started this with Google and HTC about 3 years ago, and without the efforts of those two individuals, this couldn't have happened. So thanks once more time, and please give them a round of applause. So what led up to this point? Why did we invest in the Android platform with HTC and Google? Well, frankly, mobile broadband networks have been out and available around the world for many years now. But what's really been lacking is a compelling set of applications and devices that take advantage of those broadband networks. U.S. consumers have an appetite, we know, for these services. Why do we know that? U.S. consumers overconsume everything. We love that about them. The U.S. leads the world in mobile communications voice usage and text messaging usage. It's also among the leaders in home broadband penetration, yet mobile internet penetration lags at a dismal 16% in the U.S. Why? Well, frankly, up to this point, those of you that have used it, there really hasn't been that many compelling experiences for consumers to really lean into. Consumers that have a desire to connect and really use the internet have really not found the mobile internet up to this point to be very compelling. We're going to change all that. So how are we going to do that? We're going to lean into open systems, open standards. We're going to lean into great partnerships around the world with device manufacturers. And probably most importantly, we're going to embrace third parties that have really driven the creation of the internet to create new compelling applications for the mobile internet. This new open alliance will drive in the coming years an array of devices, applications, and new services that we believe will launch consumers in the U.S. and around the world that adopt this platform to really embrace the mobile internet. So now, the reason we're all here, and without any more kind of drama and waiting, no more fuzzy pictures on the internet, no more rumors, no more cannot comment, no more unsubstantiated blog posts. We are finally here to introduce the T-Mobile G1 with Google. Take a look. T-Mobile G1 with Google.
Please come forward if you want to take pictures at this time. Please come forward.
That was just a teaser reel, guys. That's a few photos. We'll get that later.
Pretty close to my beer belly.
Yeah. Hopefully all of you use Photoshop, right? Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
You will love it.
Okay, we good?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Here we are.
We'll get to that a little later. Thank you. All right. Great. Thanks. Peter? Thank you very much. So somebody's excited about this. We've got a few cameras here. Great. So the great thing about the way we've set up this day is all of you are going to have ample opportunity to not only photograph this device live, but use it yourself firsthand. We have teams of people downstairs from Google and T-Mobile, product experts, demonstration stations, and lots of devices live running on our mobile broadband network here in New York for you to experience firsthand, to use the applications, to use the device, and get some of your detailed questions answered. But let's not tease you any longer. Let's take a quick look at a more detailed view of what this great new device running on the collective systems of T-Mobile and Google can do for consumers. Roll the video, please.
Let's take a look at some of the amazing things you can do with the T-Mobile G1. It's got a great touchscreen. A swipe across gives you more elbow room for the cool stuff you want to see and do. You can also long press to open up options and features that launch with a tap. Got a favorite picture of someone you love? Frame it and drop it right to your home screen. In fact, you can drag and drop any application just like that. Want music? We've made that easy too. One-click ordering on Amazon gives you access to the best music in anyone's pocket. It has a really terrific music player. And with one long press, you can go deeper on what you're really interested in, uncovering related material, like more song options. The G1 also multitasks, so you don't miss a thing. If a friend wants to meet up, you're alerted instantly. Simply pull down the window shade to keep the conversation going. The G1's not just a great phone, it's a powerful communicator with a full slide-out keyboard. Instant messaging lets you stay in touch and in the know. Type a few letters and up comes your contact. And if you have an address, just click and there it is on the map. G1 takes you beyond data to get you to the information you need in a way you've never seen before. Features like directions and traffic view help you never be lost again or late. Street View opens up a whole new world and lets you check out landmarks to help you quickly get where you're going. Panning around with the touchscreen is great, but what really brings it to life is compass mode. Simply press the menu button to start compass mode, and the scene moves as you do. So let's go back to the home screen. Of course, there's a great web browser with tons of useful features. The browser links you to the websites you would expect to see on your PC, even if you're on your back porch. It's simple to navigate the biggest web pages using on-screen controls to zoom in on exactly what you want to see. Opening multiple web pages is a snap. No matter what you're doing, search is always at your fingertips with a dedicated button on the keyboard. Launching a search tailored to wherever you are on the device helps you find what you're looking for quicker. That means an address search when you're in your address book, or a web search when you're on a web page. If you want to share your web pages, that's easy too. Another simple long press and you can send a link by email right from the browser. G1 is more than just a great phone. It comes loaded with great applications. But if you want more, tap into the Android market. User ratings and the ability to easily download what you want make it easy for you to get the best the Android development community has to offer. Everything from breakthrough innovations to familiar favorites. With a steady stream of new programs and applications appearing, there's always something new to discover.
So what do you think? Yeah? Looks good. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. I spent 30 minutes last night playing Pac-Man when I should have been reviewing my speaker notes. But it's really a captivating experience. So one of the things that's going to bring this future to life now and as we progress this platform is going to be this promise of an open development environment and the third-party application partners that will develop inside that environment. We really believe that open is really going to drive the future of the mobile internet. The beauty and the magic of this Android platform is a very rich toolkit for third parties to write applications and then bring them to market through the marketplace. One thing I think as humans we can always count on is change. And as times change, as consumer needs change, as technology changes, this platform is going to embrace that change by allowing third parties to write applications that take advantage of human needs and technology advances. And we'll bring those to market for consumers to experience. So from garages to graduate schools, from small towns to big cities, we believe third parties will drive the innovation and the future of the mobile internet, along with partnerships with carriers and key manufacturers. Let's take a quick look.
Open source is important because it doesn't limit what you're trying to do. The sky's the limit. If you have an idea, you can just make it happen, and you can be certain that nothing's really going to get in your way besides yourself.
So when we look at these open source projects, it's not just about these individual applications. It's about a whole ecosystem of thousands of applications coming together that any developer can jump into and help build.
Well, I think the whole concept of open source is great. Anyone can just go online and download it. They don't have to jump through hoops, do any paperwork to sign up for an SDK or pay any amount of money. It's really risk-free. We feel like it, go online, download it.
Ultimately, with Android, it's a completely open platform, so there's no third party that's going to say, you can't do that. And in the end, that's going to benefit consumers because they're going to get the best product.
Yeah, a lot of developers, and especially developers in the open source space, are sort of rebels at heart.
And so, as a community, we were able to brainstorm together. How do we do this? What's the best way? What classes, what methods do we bring in to make this happen?
And it was really awesome to finally meet some of these people when we won the contest.
And the Google people would reply on weekends, like they probably gave up their life for this.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that for consumers, ultimately, it means a new medium for interacting with the internet. Ultimately, internet is working into all of our lives directly.
For sure, for consumers, there will be many, many more apps to come, and because it is open source, they should expect to see a continuous stream of innovation in terms of what comes out.
At the same time, we're really looking forward to the programs that are going to be coming out on the phone made by other people. And, a bunch of them are going to be free, and they're going to be ideas that really no one else has ever thought of before.
One of the really cool things about this application is that right now it can go so many different directions. And right now we're working on specific tailored applications towards making things more secure. We can.
All right.
Nope.
Yeah.
Don't.
Let's
keep something secret.
Let's keep that secret.
Sorry, guys.
Came up with a bunch of other, great other ideas that were finalists. For example, we were thinking,
Jeff, it won't be so great if everyone else knows about it.
Okay. So I guess we'll save it for the next competition.
So anyway, it's getting late, guys. I think I'm going to head home.
All right.
So a fun and very inspirational look at the future of how third parties will bring this new platform to life for consumers. Again, very pleased to be joined here today by a couple of our key third-party partners. First is an application from a small team called EcoRio, And EcoRio is an application that allows individuals to track their carbon footprint and frankly be maybe a little bit better global citizen for all of us to rely on. EcoRio team, please stand up. The next is an application called Shop Savvy, and this talented team developed a way to basically take the G1 and turn it into a barcode scanner, scan any consumer good, quickly get a lookup from the internet just by simply turning on the camera and scanning that barcode, and then getting comparative pricing back so that you can find the best deal out there. And I think given what's happened in New York and around the world in the last couple of weeks in these tough economic times, who doesn't want a better price? Who doesn't want a better deal, right? Holiday season's fast approaching, so we're sure the Shop Savvy group and that application is going to be a big hit with consumers. Please stand up. These teams will be downstairs for you to talk to later and see their applications live and, again, experience them firsthand. Thanks very much.
Wonderful. Thank you, Cole. Okay, at this point, we're going to be putting microphones out. My name is David Beige. I'm head of communications for T-Mobile USA. We're going to be having folks fanning out to answer your questions. We'll have about a 15-minute Q&A period. While we're getting microphones out throughout the audience, we're going to get a few questions out first, and then we'll go to the audience. First of all, Cole Brodman, can you tell us a little bit more about pricing and availability?
Thanks, David. Pricing for the T-Mobile G1 with Google will be $179. Starting today, existing T-Mobile customers in limited quantity can order them over the internet. There'll be a microsite available that will publish the links for that during this press conference. They can order it, have it shipped to their home as soon as the product becomes available in stores. The commercial launch date will be October 22nd, and will be available around all selected T-Mobile retail stores and markets and third-party dealers. Last quick point is that we're very excited to bring innovation on the pricing side as well. We'll have two very compelling data and messaging plan options for consumers to purchase to use the device. It'll be a $25 option with unlimited web, internet usage, and some messaging. And there'll be a $35 option, which includes unlimited messaging and unlimited mobile web and internet. Thank you.
Cole, on the network itself, 3G, the deployments rolling out, this year. Where will things be by end of 2008?
Thanks, David. This is a breakthrough year for T-Mobile. We're launching our third-generation HSPA-powered 3G network this year. We're up live now in about 16 markets, and by the launch of the T-Mobile G1 with Google, we will be live in 22 markets, and then by middle of November, we'll be live in 27 markets across the U.S., essentially all the large metropolitan markets in the U.S., which represents about 80% of all of our consumers and usage on the network today. So vast 3G T-Mobile network to use, the T-Mobile G1 with, and we're very excited about that broadband rollout.
Thank you, Cole. Christopher, availability in Europe. Tell us more.
First of all, we are absolutely keen to launch this device across Europe, as we don't want to only reach the 30 million customers in the US, of which we are proud of, but also the 100 million customers roughly in Europe, and customers are waiting for this device. So the device will be available in the United Kingdom early November, and then across Europe in the first quarter 2009.
Thank you. Andy Rubin, when you look out 2 years from now, where's all this going to be?
Well, we start out when the products become available in October. We're going to open source the entire platform, make it available to anybody on the web, and that'll enable a lot of the collaboration and innovation that I talked about in the opening talk. Beyond that, it's a pretty focused roadmap. It's going to, we're going to go broader with more features and functionality. We think we have kind of the body here, but the long tail is the part that, of course, is interesting, and Google's going to help enable that.
And finally, Peter, why was it important for HTC to be part of this initial device launch?
And number one is our long-standing partnership and friendship. Number two is HTC's long-term vision and commitment on making mobile internet reality. And the third is the proven record of HTC's innovation, execution, and leading-edge technology. So these are making all this happen, and we're actually very proud of that.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think we should have microphones spread out. Let me just see. Let's go back there. Jackson, go ahead.
I'm Lucy Komisoff from Travel Lady magazine. 2 questions. Will this function as a tethered modem? And is the pricing on top of having to have a voice plan, or can people just get the data plan?
Hi, thanks for the question. No, this is really a all-in-one device, and it'll be used as a mobile device, not a tethered modem. The data plan will require a voice plan on T-Mobile network as well.
Okay, over here.
Hi, Michael Gartenberg with Jupiter Media. Is there any support for Microsoft Office files, either viewing or editing, and Microsoft Exchange? And then just a quick follow-up to that, is the device SIM-locked to T-Mobile? Can it be used on any network in addition?
You want to take the first one? Sure. So as far as compatibility with existing applications, we can read Word documents, PDF documents, I believe Excel documents. There is currently no Exchange compatibility, but it's a perfect opportunity for a third-party developer.
Yeah, I just reinforce that the open marketplace is really going to drive innovation on this platform. We believe there'll be an opportunity for third parties to bring an Exchange component to the market in the near future. To answer your SIM-lock question, it will be SIM-locked to T-Mobile as it rolls out.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, over in the back again.
Yeah, this is Dan Fromer with Silicon Alley Insider. Will you be offering push email, or is it just a push-pull IMAP system?
Gmail is push, and IMAP, of course, is a pulled system.
Right over here.
Stuart Walpin, freelance. Is there going to be a desktop application for syncing all of the applications and all the pictures and all the everything else that's going to be on the phone?
The device is really an encapsulated mobile and network service, so there's not a desktop application initially. All the synchronization will happen in the back end seamlessly with the device and the network.
Okay, right up front.
So when you say selected markets, will this be available outside of markets where you have 3G, or is this only going to be available in markets with 3G?
It will be available outside markets where we have 3G, but we want consumers will be ordering on the internet in those markets. Simply, we want to make sure consumers understand that the best experience, we believe, will be on the 3G network. This device, I should mention, also includes Wi-Fi. So you have the opportunity to use it on Wi-Fi networks, and you'll see some applications demonstrated downstairs that really take advantage of that Wi-Fi connectivity. We believe it'll be a good experience on 2G, but the best experience will be on Wi-Fi and on T-Mobile 3G network.
Okay, let's see, and back again.
Hi, I'm Ken Berger. I know it's a T-Mobile event and everything. I'd like to dig just a little bit deeper into the SIM-lock question. I don't know, how locked is it going to be? Do you anticipate, with the iPhone, there's been a whole kind of space race in, the unlockers unlock it and then the network locks it again. Any comments to that?
I think there's no guarantees in technology, and certainly we've seen a lot happen over the last year and a half with the device you mentioned. I think it's worth noting that $179 we think is a really attractive price, and the device costs quite a bit more than that from a purchase perspective. So we want to make sure that consumers have the opportunity to use it on the network that we optimize it for, and hence is the reason we've locked it to the T-Mobile network.
Go ahead up front.
Joe Weisenthal, paid content, Mocha News. Question about marketing. What kind of push will T-Mobile make, and then also will Google be participating in marketing efforts at all?
Google and T-Mobile have absolutely developed an integrated marketing plan, which includes kind of the best of Google properties and traditional T-Mobile advertising, both on TV and in our channels. We have a very large distribution network. The device will be marketed starting in October, and will be the biggest marketing campaign we've ever launched for a mobile device. We have a very unique business relationship with Google, and not worth commenting on at this point.
We've got a question over here.
Matthew Miller, ZDNet Mobile Gadgeteer.
So with no desktop application, is it going to have a server sync similar to the Sidekick type of device? And also, what Bluetooth profiles are supported? Is A2DP and Bluetooth keyboard supported as well?
I'll take that.
So obviously the device syncs very well to Google services, Google Calendar, Gmail, Google Talk for instant messaging. Also supports Yahoo, Microsoft, and AOL instant messaging as well. As far as Bluetooth profiles, it supports headset hands-free. We'll get to H2D or A2DP in the future release.
Okay, over here.
Amy Thompson with Bloomberg News. Is this going to use the Chrome browser?
It employs a browser that's of the same base as Chrome. It's called WebKit. It's an open source browser. The Chrome team did a implementation of that on the desktop computer, and Android did an implementation of it on a mobile phone. You can think of it as Chrome Lite, if you will, something that is kind of perfectly optimized for a small screen.
And one more, I believe, over here, if we can get the microphone over.
Hi, Paul Taylor, Financial Times. Who do you see this device primarily aimed at? Is it the business user? Is it consumers? Is it the corporate market? Or how broad a market do you think it might appeal to?
Yeah, I think this device is going to have, frankly, mass appeal. I think there's going to be something for everybody. T-Mobile and Google and our partnership with HTC really set off in the beginning to build a device that we thought was going to have appeal to our young and social segments, our youth segments, and our family segments. So really a broad spectrum. We expect it to be more of a consumer device, not necessarily an enterprise device, but I think you'll see a lot of enterprise workers that will come into T-Mobile retail channels or on the web and order this device and use it for those reasons as well.
Okay, let's go in the back again. All right, well, the microphone just disappeared. Let's see, who else has a microphone? Okay, over here.
Hi, Joel Evans from Geek.com. One thing that continues to surprise me, especially even at this launch event, is not the over-highlighting of Gmail and what functionality we could enjoy with this device at this point. So what are the future plans for Gmail? We haven't really seen the client being demonstrated. Is there anything out of the box that the G1 is going to do differently than what we've seen with the iPhone?
Why don't you talk about the demo opportunity?
I'll jump in on it.
Okay. So as far as Gmail goes, I mean, it's a pretty robust, Gmail experience. It gives you the same threading options, the same archiving options, labels, and all that. Allows you to search your email. It's very fast. It's a pretty good Gmail experience on a small platform.
The other thing is the services, a lot of the email services will be integrated through a front end, Gmail-powered front end, but still be able to integrate third-party services. One of the things we're particularly proud of, you didn't ask the instant messaging question, but this will be the first implementation of online presence inside the phone book, essentially, live in the phone book of Google Talk presence. So we'll be able to start really building more powerful communication services, we believe, as well, using instant messaging as a path.
Okay, we got one more question here.
Actually, two questions. Does it work with iTunes and Skype? And second, does it work internationally? So I understand you still have a phone number, so would the phone number work within the plan outside of the United States?
I'll take the first part. So it will work with any, it supports essentially AAC, WMA, MP3, a number of different voice and music coding standards. But in terms of iTunes compatibility, the content would have to be DRM unlocked by the consumer before it would work on the device. But we will support the coding methods underneath that. The other questions were on Skype and I don't believe there's a Skype. No, not at this point in time, no. Will it work internationally? Yes, the device is dual band on the UMTS side and quad band on the GSM side. So it'll work essentially on any GSM GPRS network in the world. And then we'll work on the bands that T-Mobile US operates here in the US and the bands that are operated in the vast majority of the parts of the world for UMTS as well.
Just to interrupt the questions here, well, we're always full of surprises here. We've got some very special guests who really don't need any introduction, but I'll do it anyway. Google founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin are here. Please come forward.
We had to rush here a little bit today from the Google Transit launch, and with all of the streets being shut down and all, felt like wheels were the best way to go. Anyhow, it's very exciting to be here today. What really gives me pleasure with this launch of the G1 with T-Mobile is I'm a bit of a geek, and I really like tinkering with things. The way I grew up and playing in college and grad school with computers, being able to write my own programs and mess around with Linux and just touch all parts of the system. I get that same kind of pleasure playing with Android on the G1 here. I have one in my pocket. I've been using it for a while now, and probably much to the chagrin of some of the folks upstage, like Andy and whatnot. The first application I ended up writing was one where you throw your phone up in the air, and it measures how much time goes by until you catch it or it hits the floor. That was my first app using the built-in accelerometer.
I was suggesting that we don't ship that one.
We did not include that one by default. I haven't put it up on the apps store, the app store yet, but I should think a little bit about that when I'm getting a dirty look. Maybe I won't. Anyhow, it's just very exciting for me as a computer geek to be able to have a phone that I can play with and modify and innovate upon, just like I have with computers in the past.
Yeah, and I've tremendously enjoyed using my G1. I've been reading my email and doing all sorts of things on it. And I've really, really enjoyed using it. And Andy knows I've been giving him lots and lots of feedback, but it's been a lot of fun. And I am also really excited about the possibilities this means. There's about 3 billion mobile phones, and with about 1 billion new ones every year. And when you think about that, just the possibilities you have to really use the internet on actually a pretty good computer. I mean, this is as good a computer as you had a few years ago is in this phone. And when you think about that in terms of access to the internet, being able to really use the web, use the applications that we all make and really work hard on, I think that's a tremendous, tremendous opportunity. We used to give this example actually we could do it right now. So if we ask you guys to do a web search, we can see how long it takes. Who wants to try to do a web search? All right. So tell me when you're done.
There are lots of people with laptops here.
Well,
and wireless connections.
All right, without a laptop. There you go. So the speed difference between using like a phone and using a laptop is still pretty big. And you think about it, usually you have your phone with you. You don't always have your laptop with you. It's kind of difficult to carry all the time, especially if you're rollerblading. And being able to do search with that fidelity that you used to have on your laptop is a really, really worthwhile thing. And we're really excited about that. So I think that's a big element of this is really having computer-like functionality on a phone. That means being able to run different applications, being able to have an open ecosystem, and really being able to do really creative things. And I think you'll see amazing things happen, especially with the ability to do location-based services. You already see that with maps, which is tremendously powerful. And I think you'll see a lot of other really interesting things. So with that.
Thanks, everybody. Let's have a joint photograph here. Well, thanks, guys. Here you go.
Oh, great. Oh, we were taller.
Yeah, you are taller. I just want the height record to go on.
Where'd you guys come from?
Unfair height advantage.
Was there any paparazzi following you around?
Yeah, absolutely.
right, I'm going to guess that that is the end of the press conference. If everybody,
Okay.
do you know when?
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is Chris doing the
All right, at
wrap-up
this
now?
point, what we'd like to do is have folks make their way downstairs. The team is going to be downstairs and available for additional questions. Thank you very much for being here. We'll see you downstairs. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, okay, I think that's the end of the press conference.
Do you have a ramp? Do you need a ramp, or can you do stairs?
Oh, finally. Answers to questions. Excellent. If you go to the wrap-up, you'll actually be able to see a device in real life. Chris DeBona is going to be demonstrating a real Android phone in the wrap-up session, which is starting pretty soon, I think. I think that got moved up, didn't it? It's 6? I thought they moved it up a little bit earlier. Oh, okay. Anyway, relax and have a coffee and make sure you go to the wrap-up session and see a real Android phone, finally. All right, thank you very much.